Hello friend, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kimberly. Today I'm going to be making peanut butter. Now here in Ecuador, generally the prices of food are much lower than in the United States, but peanut butter is one item that's considerably more expensive. So I have purchased 10 pounds of peanuts. I paid $1.55 a pound, so this has cost me $15.50. And I have these nice roasted peanuts that I'm going to be grinding up with my Champion juicer. Now most commercially available peanut butter has added sugar and added fat. I just want a natural peanut butter that's just made of the roasted peanuts with a little salt. I might occasionally add a tiny bit of extra oil if it needs help getting through the machine, but otherwise it's mostly peanuts. So let's get started. So the process is very straightforward. It just takes some time and some elbow grease. I'm going to be running these peanuts through the juicer, and I usually will process it twice to get the texture that I want on my peanut butter. So I've been processing the peanuts for about 15 minutes now with my Champion juicer, and the juicer heats up and I need to give it a chance to cool for a few minutes. So you can also make peanut butter in your Vitamix. I want to do a side-by-side comparison. I, for some reason, in the past decided that my Champion juicer was a better option, and I don't really remember why. So I wanted to give the Vitamix a chance again and show you the results. So I took out my recipe book for my Vitamix to reread the directions, and they say to start with 3 cups of peanuts. Now they didn't say specifically whether that's for the 4-quart container or 4-cup container or the 8-cup container. So I'm going to try it in the smaller one and we'll see. So I need to fill this up. That's about 3 cups. And this is supposed to be quite a lot faster. So let's see. Well, that certainly was fast. And the texture of this peanut butter is a lot more smooth than what I've got going from my Champion juicer one time through. So I'm going to add maybe a teaspoon of this sunflower oil and try blending it again. So look at this. This has given me pretty good results here, I have to say. Just that tiny bit of oil was enough to help it to move through the blades better. And I'd call that a finished product. Maybe because I make such a big batch at a time, I still want to stick to my Champion juicer, but you know, I might work both machines today, alternating between the two to get through all of these peanuts. Let me give that a shot. So I'm going to show you a comparison between what I've got so far. So here it is, run one time through the Champion juicer. I really want to run it again to get a smoother consistency. And then this, I'm pretty impressed with how this peanut butter turned out going through the Vitamix. But to be fair, I did have to add a little bit of oil to this. So I'm going to keep chugging away at this 10 pounds of peanuts. This is going to take a while. You can use this exact same method to make other nut butters. Think almond butter, cashew butter, or pecan butter, or any combination of nuts. That would be something really good to try. I've not actually personally done a combination of nuts, but I think I would like it. My family would too. Now, on this particular day, I have purchased pre-roasted peanuts. You could also make peanut butter using raw peanuts, or I have purchased raw peanuts and roasted them myself. Now, if you want to roast your own peanuts, you just need to put them in a single layer on a baking sheet in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. You don't want to overcook them or burn them, and they'll continue to cook a little bit after you take them out of the oven. So you want to stop it just shy of the doneness that you would prefer. Now, if you do roast your own nuts, be sure you let them cool all the way to room temperature before you begin to grind them. Starting with already hot nuts and then putting them into the machine where it creates a lot of friction is where you're really going to overheat your machine and possibly melt your Vitamix container if you're using a Vitamix to process your peanut butter. So keep that in mind if you give this a try. You can see I'm adding oil as I process these peanuts, but only to the extent that I absolutely have to. Depending on the peanuts, sometimes I don't have to add any oil, but I think that for this entire 10 pounds of peanuts, I've added less than a quarter of a cup. I'm really only adding like a teaspoon or half a teaspoon at a time. So it's been about an hour since I've started. I've gotten through all 10 pounds of peanuts, but the ones that I've run through the Champion juicer, I'm not pleased with this texture. I'll need to run it through again. And wow, I'm really impressed with how well my Vitamix has been performing. You can see the difference between what I've blended in the Vitamix, both the texture and the quantity, and what I've blended in the juicer. So I've been alternating between the two so that neither one overheats. And I remember now why it is that I use my Champion juicer and not my Vitamix. The instructions in the Vitamix manual really warn you against overheating the peanuts in the container because you can melt the container. My Champion juicer is designated only as something that I use for making peanut butter. But my Vitamix, I use my Vitamix for all sorts of things, and so I wouldn't want to do anything that could ruin it. But this has really shown me how capable the Vitamix is at making peanut butter. I might have to rethink my usual method of doing it, and really I've rather enjoyed this method of alternating between the two so that neither one overheats. I do like to do big batches so I don't have to do it very often. So, wow, this is interesting. So I'm going to be running all of this through the juicer one more time and then show you the comparison between the two. Well, I have really learned something new today. I'm very impressed with my Vitamix. It does the job quicker and it gives better results. Look at this texture. This is from the Vitamix, and this is from the Champion juicer, running it through twice. I feel like I've been doing this wrong all this time. Making this video forced me to try a side-by-side comparison and see how superior my Vitamix is in making peanut butter. So now what I want to do is try taking some of this peanut butter, which is the consistency that we're used to using, and running it through the Vitamix and see if I can get it creamier like this. Now, I'm not opposed to chunky peanut butter. If we had chunks of peanuts to mix in with this smooth, that would be great. But what I have here is not chunky peanut butter. It's almost what I would call gritty peanut butter. Now, we enjoy it this way, and this is what we're used to, but I'm certain we're going to like it better like this. Okay, that took about an hour and a half to grind up these 10 pounds of peanuts into peanut butter, and I'm ready to start putting it in my jars. Now these jars, my husband went on a trip to the US, I want to say about 7 years ago, and brought back these jars of Adam's peanut butter that we love. He actually purchased 5 of them, and one broke in his luggage in transit, and that was kind of a disaster. So we've not done that again. After that, I learned how to make my own, but we've continued to use these jars, and they've really served us well. Now, after a few years of using these jars, the lids began to rust out, and I wanted new lids. So last summer, we spent in Alaska, and while I was there, I bought jars of peanut butter and ate them. I enlisted some help from my daughter and her family to eat up the peanut butter, and then I brought back the new lids. So there you have it. That's how I make peanut butter here in my home in Ecuador. The 10 pounds of peanuts will fill my 4 jars. Now, if I were to purchase this peanut butter locally, this would cost approximately $80, maybe more. So remember, I paid $15.50 for the peanuts, and then it took me about 2 hours of work. There's quite a lot of cleanup. That's why I like to do big batches, because a fair amount of peanut butter is left inside of the machine. Now, I have used my Vitamix before in the past to make peanut butter, and there's quite a bit of leftover peanut butter inside the machine. And I've intentionally left a little extra in this container. What I plan to do with this is make a batch of hummus. Now, if I had tahini, that would be my preference for making my hummus, but I don't currently have tahini. It's not readily available here, a good quality tahini that I like for my hummus. And so you can use peanut butter as a substitute. So when I blend up my garbanzo beans and other ingredients here in this container, it will blend in all of this peanut butter residue and make a great batch of hummus. So I'm really happy with this peanut butter. Now, full disclosure, if I lived someplace where I could buy natural peanut butter at a good price, I probably wouldn't make my own. It is quite a lot of work. It's labor intensive, kind of a labor of love, but I do feel like I save enough money to make it worth my time to make my own, and I'm happy with the quality of peanut butter that I end up with. It wouldn't really make sense if you live someplace where you can easily find affordable natural peanut butter, unless perhaps you're growing your own peanuts or you have some specialty peanuts that you want to use to make into your own peanut butter. So if you have either a Champion juicer or a Vitamix or some other appropriate machine, you could make your own peanut butter too. Bye, friend. Thanks for watching.